Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Squad Talk FPL Podcast. Already, I'm told, the most popular Malik Diouf podcast on the internet. I'm your host, Nick Boonstra. Very excited to have you along. Thank you so much for listening. Now, right up front, I hope you'll pardon the newness of this new podcast. I don't have any theme music to speak of. Once I figure out how to license a song like Green Arrow by Yola Tango and whether or not I can afford to do that, then we'll be in business. No sponsors, no ad breaks that you have to worry about. But if there are any representatives from Dunkin' Donuts listening, you are welcome to email me at squadtalkfpl@gmail.com. It's the least you can do to make up for the lukewarm decaf coffee I got earlier today. A little bit about me. Like I said, my name is Nick Boonstra. I'm 28 years old, single, but of course you already knew that because this is an FPL podcast. I'm a Bostonian, very proudly, which means that I actually grew up about an hour outside of the city, and that sports are in my blood, for better or worse. We know highs, we know lows. Currently, I work as a full-time rideshare driver in the city, living out my childhood dream of being a cab driver, and I'm only half joking about that. I'm a West Ham United fan. I have been since the year of our Lord 2013-14, which means I know plenty about misery and what it's like to lose in soccer. And I've been playing FPL for about 10 years now. I started probably halfway through that same 13-14 season, and I've been playing most seasons ever since. I did take a year off around like 2019 because who knows why. And then this last season, last year and a half actually, I've been out of the FPL space because of a job that I had at the time. Excited to jump back into it. Excited to get back into this game that has brought me the high highs and low lows that I know any manager who has spent any time playing it will be familiar with. Some of my FPL career highlights include benching Jamie Vardy for Leicester's 9-0 win over Southampton, selling Son Heung-min for Bruno Fernandes in game week 16 of the 23-24 season, thankfully something I won't have to worry about doing again, and just one singular top 100,000 finish in the 22-23 season. Now, right up front, I want to say that top 100K finish was thanks in large part to being an engaged member of the FPL community. One of the best parts of FPL is all the people that play it, and if somehow you are stumbling upon my podcast before any of the others in this space, I would highly recommend that you go and check out everything from the official FPL pod that drops at least once a week. Mark McGettigan's excellent 59th minute FPL pod is probably my favorite, if I'm being honest. There's FPL Optimized. There's a bunch out there on YouTube as well. Let's Talk FPL, FPL Focal. I'm not on Twitter so much these days, but there are a lot of great content creators and just different managers, players, people who track different parts of the game, whether they're just sharing their own teams with you, getting into the upcoming fixtures. I think Ben Krellin is the name of a manager who really gets deep into what you can expect for fixture movements as different competitions come up later in the season. So plenty out there. I listen to other podcasts myself, and I would highly recommend that as we get started on this podcasting journey, that you don't make my podcast the only one you listen to either. Now, I can already hear you saying, well, Nick, if there's so much great content already out there, why are you starting a podcast? And that's a great question. For one, content creation just in general is something that I've wanted to jump into for a long time, and I'm always looking for new ways to get into YouTube streaming. But FPL specifically, again, it's a game I've been playing for about a decade now. It's something I enjoy a lot, something I'm passionate about, so I figured it would make sense to just jump in and rip off the Band-Aid and start making a podcast. I personally feel like I like to play FPL a bit differently from the whole quote-unquote template that you'll find out there. I like to find, you would call them differentials. I like to try to pick up players that aren't maybe super popular. I'm very much a gut feeling, not even an eye test. Who needs to watch the games? I just get my gut feelings, and what better time to start chasing gut feelings than preseason like we have right here. And above all, I want to make something that is welcoming to new fantasy Premier League players. It can feel, I think, like a bit of an overwhelming space. And again, as with anything, sometimes the best thing to do is just jump in. But I would love to make something myself that fills a bit of a gap in terms of content aimed at new players. I'm going to be honest, I'm probably not going to do a very good job of reaching that goal these first few weeks as I just get started, get off the ground. But that is always going to be my aim, is to make a product, a podcast, a listening experience that is open and engaging for people who are just jumping into the game, people who may not even be familiar with the Premier League, who are just getting into soccer, into football for the first time. It's going to be exciting with the World Cup coming to my shores in this coming year, and I would love to help feed into some of that soccer hype that I'm sure will be here, because we all know MLS is not going to cut it. Now, if you are new to FPL, welcome. I am so glad to hear that you've joined the internet's most popular browser-based, free-to-play, massive multiplayer, sports-themed strategy deck builder game. FPL is an experience, again, whether you're able to watch every single game on repeat every single weekend, or if you're just catching highlights here and there, having an FPL team to call your own makes it that much more exciting, that much more engaging. Get to know the players, the team, the league, and really pack an extra punch, all without actually wagering money. Isn't that nice? We don't have to, not that I'm anti-gambling, but listen, we wager emotional capital here. We save our actual monetary capital for the things that really matter in life, and instead choose to pawn off that unimportant mental health and emotional state for the performance of 11 soccer players for some of us on the other side of the planet, because why wouldn't you? So welcome. I hope you, whatever you do, always are having fun with FPL. Again, the game comes with some very high highs and some very low lows. I definitely have been thinking a lot since this summer and the tragic passing of Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva, just about what really matters. They say football is the most important of the least important things, and I would say FPL doubly so in that case. So let's make FPL fun again. Let's have some fun playing this game. Now, if you're not a Dunkin' Donuts marketing lead, but you do still want to get in touch with the podcast, throw any listener questions my way, I think the best way to do that is going to be via email, squadtalkfpl@gmail.com. I'm going to do my best to check that, consistently maintain that. Again, I'm just not on Twitter all that much these days. squadtalkfpl@gmail.com. Also, if you're new to the game, I just want to apologize up front. Both the website and app UI are dreadful. They are awful this year. I don't know it's just bad. It's really not good. It's been better. Hopefully it gets better. I still haven't figured out how to make a watch list. I don't know. It's tough this year. So we're going to do the best we can. Quick little what to expect from this podcast. I'll be honest, when I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've been thinking about this, and first I was like, oh, I'll make it like a weekly, it's like a little news segment, and I'll have the weather report about like whether or not I'm gonna, get it. Isn't that funny? And then I was like, no, what I should do is I should make it where it's like, I'm like a real manager. It's like a running gag where like, okay, now time for the listener questions. And it's like, here's, Mo Salah or Cole Palmer, like emailing me about why they should stay in my team or why, and I'm like, listen, for one, I'm too tired, man. Like, I don't got all that. I don't got the time for that. I don't got the energy for that. I'm sorry. And for like another, you don't want to listen to that. Come on, let's be honest. We're here. Let's just have some fun, play the game. Let's just do it for real and not worry about all the whatever that would have been. So I'm just here. I'm just a dude to talk about my FPL squad with you and to hear your thoughts, share mine, play the game my way, and hopefully encourage you to play it yours. As far as this being a new podcast, I was told in college that 10 weeks is kind of the hump you have to get over. 10 episodes is usually where things start to fizzle out if someone can get that far. And I know that because I've tried once. If you want to go digging on Spotify for a nice little podcast called Welcome to Football, that was a senior project of mine at university that I kind of spun off into what was supposed to be a weekly podcast series, made it all of 6 episodes. So we're going to try to do a little better than that this time around. So 10 is I'm like bare minimum, whatever I have to do. I'm making 10 episodes of this show once a week, and hopefully, keep going from there, going through the rest of the season. International breaks or not, whatever, we're gonna make content. We're gonna look at the team. We're gonna share our thoughts. We're gonna go ahead and do this. Probably going to be Mondays or Tuesdays. I don't want to make any grand promises that it's going to be every week at this single time, but those tend to be my self-imposed days off from being out in the car. I'm recording this on Monday night, August 4th. Hopefully have this up by tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll even intersperse the episodes with little fun life anecdotes from my experiences driving the denizens of Boston to and fro. All I'll say for now is never compliment another woman's cooking in front of the woman that you're trying to start dating. That will not end well for you, and I've seen that firsthand. Probably shooting for about 20 to 30 minutes per episode. See if we can do that successfully, find enough to talk about to get that done. And without any further ado, listen, the podcast is called Squad Talk. I'm here to talk about my squad. Who's in, who's out, what I'm thinking, who I like, who I don't, where things are going to go. I'm definitely a tinkerer, so every single team is always going to be subject to change. I do like to think a lot, especially as the season goes on, about upcoming fixtures and upcoming transfers, who I want in my team for the weeks to come. You know, it's interesting, when I stepped away from FPL, again, about a year and a half ago, it was right in the middle. Like, I haven't played FPL with the whole 5 rolling transfers yet. That's still new to me. For me, it was you can bank up to, I think it was 2 tops. So this whole idea that you're going to be able to bank a total of 5 transfers, this is going to be my first season playing under that rule set, so I'm excited. I can be, again, I'm a tinkerer, and I can get fidgety and I can get trigger happy, and especially with chips, I can really get excited, overexcited, and then get overexcited about how high my rank is in the middle of the season when I've already played all my chips, and most rational, sane managers haven't, and just watch my ranking tumble through the rest of the year. So I'm going to try to hold off. I know just from different podcasts that I've been listening to, a lot of people are talking about a game week 1 bench boost, drafting 15 players in your squad that you want to all play in this upcoming game week rather than just the starting 11. I'm not on board with that. I just don't really see a way to spread the funds around that would make a 15-man team that I would feel great about. But B, I just don't want to be too trigger happy. Even with the 2 sets of chips that we're going to get this season, I would like to hold off. And especially with my wild card too. I've had a few years of notoriously getting pretty unhappy with my team pretty early and wild carding very quickly. So I'm going to try to hold off until I'm going to give myself game week 8 as a just a like hang on kid type of threshold, and we'll see if we can make it that far. And so how we're going to do this, I'm going to just start by reading out my team, starting 11 and bench, and then we're going to talk about who's in, who's out, what I'm thinking. Again, this is probably, I'm going to call this version 2.3 already. I've already had kind of a version 0.1, a 1.0, and now this is probably the second or third variation on version 2 here. So right now, my FPL squad with nothing left in the bank consists of Queven, I think that's how you say it, Kelleher, goalkeeper for Brentford, facing Nottingham Forest away, game week 1. Defenders are the aforementioned Malik Diouf, defender for West Ham, Sunderland away, game week 1. James Tarkowski to face Leeds away for Everton, and Nico Williams of Nottingham Forest against Brentford at home, game week 1. Midfield, Mo Salah, Liverpool legend, home to Bournemouth. He is my vice-captain for game week 1. Bruno Fernandes of Manchester United, home to Arsenal. Mohamed Kudus, newly of Tottenham Hotspur, going to be facing Burnley at home. Lucas Paquetá, also of West Ham, against Sunderland away. And then Declan Rice of Arsenal, former Hammer, Manchester United away to start the year. Up front, I've got 2 strikers, Erling Haaland, the man, the myth, the legend himself, my captain at this moment, against Wolves away for the first fixture, and Bournemouth's Evan Nilsson away to Liverpool for game week 1. On the bench, Martin Dubravka, currently of Newcastle, apparently rumored to be going to Burnley. I will say I had him already. He already caught my eye before I learned any of this Burnley transfer speculation. Marco Senesi of Bournemouth is my first bench option, with Burnley's Axel Tuanzebe and Michael Obafemi rounding out the bench. A couple of thoughts to start. So my captain, Erling Haaland. I love Erling Haaland. I've since lost it, but I bought a Dortmund hat a few years ago, just a black baseball cap with a Dortmund crest on it, solely because of like the legend that Erling Haaland was when he was there. I just love him as a player. I understand that he had a bit of a quieter season last year. I don't know. I think that was due to injury, and I know Pep, for all the question marks around who starts in a Manchester City squad from week to week, and you will notice I don't have any other Manchester City players going into the season, again, at least right now. Erling Haaland does seem to be the workhorse that gets run into the ground when he's available, when he's healthy. And you can see why. He's a goal-scoring monster. He won, Young Player of the Year his first season in the league. Scored his first goal against West Ham United, I might add. And so, I just can't. I know there's no Kevin De Bruyne in the squad this year. There will be, from what I've Googled, Rodri available again. I guess he's the one other workhorse every single week in, week out available to play. Member of the Manchester City squad. And I mean, to be honest, I think he's not going to be obviously providing a whole bunch of goals and assists himself, but I just think his presence in the team makes Manchester City so much better. I do think Haaland will indirectly benefit from that safety, from that prolonged possession that a guy like Rodri guarantees for whatever team that he's playing for. So that's definitely something to watch as we're thinking about Manchester City. I know this year is going to be the first year where defensive contributions factor in as far as midfielders and defenders. And maybe, I don't know, can forwards get defensive contribution points? Possibly. And so maybe Rodri, again, in his own right, is worth looking at in the midfield. I haven't taken a super close look. I honestly couldn't tell you what his price is. It could be, 5.5, could be higher, could be lower. That's definitely going to be interesting. But I just think, as far as City goes and as far as a striker goes, Haaland has my eyes and my full attention. Salah, my other primary premium player, and that does mean that Cole Palmer doesn't make the cut. Now, that's the biggest exclusion that I feel iffy about. Cole Palmer is legendary. He so happens to look like my brother. I guess by extension, kind of like me. When I was younger, there are certain pictures, but very much I can see him with my younger brother. So that's always funny. 10.5 is a lot of money. Listen, he's obviously going to score goals. I am going to kind of wait and see. I don't feel too excited about this Joao Pedro experiment. I don't, I've been wrong, but we were all excited about Christopher Nkunku a couple of years ago. Look at how far that went. Nicholas Jackson as well. You know what I mean? So Chelsea have had a high whiff rate under, what's his name? The American Bully. That really hasn't gone super well. So Palmer misses the cut. He's the biggest exclusion. He's the one I feel toughest about leaving out, but just with the costs and with the confidence that I have in Haaland and Salah, I just feel like it's hard to leave him out. Listen, Salah is a machine. He's a monster. He's probably the best. I've been following Premier League football since 2013-14. Mo Salah is probably the best single player to play in the league during that time. He's the GOAT of the era that I followed English soccer. He's a beast. He's a legend. He scores goals. He gets assists, and he sees, and he's. I don't think slowing down. From what I can tell, he's just going and going. As much as I love Haaland, again, I don't even think he reaches that level. It's going to be interesting to see, of course, how the Liverpool squad lines up, what the whole Alexander Isak saga ends up being. I'm not too worried if Isak does join Liverpool. I think that still means certainly assists and still goals for Salah as well. I don't think his contribution in the attacking department would dip, even with a striker at the level of an Alexander Isak up front as the number 9. Of course, we saw Darwin Nunez was supposed to be, this whole big thing, and maybe that's just more because Darwin Nunez wasn't what he was supposed to be, but it certainly didn't hurt the production of Mo Salah from what I can tell. Other names. So Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United, they're an interesting one, obviously. Poor season last year, same as Tottenham. You would expect those immortal sporting words, regression to the mean. They're not that bad, right? They can't really be that bad again. Now, obviously, everyone is going to say this. You don't want to get too excited about preseason. I don't want to get too excited about preseason, but Bruno does already have, a couple goals. He's still taking penalties for Manchester United. He's going to get assists. I know there's all this worry about, is he going to be a deeper lying, whatever. I'm still confident. I've always had a soft spot for Rasmus Højlund since joining the league. I don't know why. I think he probably had one good game week when he first came in, and I had him in my team, and he, scored in that week, and that'll do it for you. I always was a Marcus Rashford believer because he would do well when he was in my team, and ignore all the other evidence that follows after. Confirmation bias is what it is. So Bruno, yeah, he's a tricky one, and again, like I said, I've had faith in him before, and he's let me down. So we'll keep an eye on him. Arsenal, obviously a tough fixture to start, but whenever you've got penalties, you're always going to be a threat. I'm even going to see here how his fixtures look going into the season. So Arsenal at home, and then Fulham away, Burnley home, City away, and then Chelsea in game week 5. So it's not the easiest start to the season. Manchester derby early, always going to be strong emotions, strong feelings. One thing I should say, too, that I didn't even mention about Cole Palmer is, not only the Chelsea squad, but the Chelsea summer. And again, people are going to, I know, Joao Pedro, I think he scored in Club World Cup matches. So, what am I worried about? Obviously, it's weird. The Club World Cup is just weird. I don't like it. I want to pretend it didn't exist. I'm got a buddy who's a Chelsea fan, and I'm texting him about my squad, and I'm talking about Chelsea's weird summer, and he's like, oh, by weird, do you mean literally becoming champions of the world? I'm like, listen, dude, it's the club. Nobody, just leave it out. Nobody wants it. So it's been an interesting arrangement of their summer, and I guess it just has me a little worried about how they're going to start the season here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So right now it is Bruno as that second top midfielder. A couple of cheaper ones besides that in the midfield. Kudus. Okay, so I really wanted James Maddison. Again, you talk about gut feelings. I'm like, Maddison under Thomas Frank, it just felt like it was going to work. It was going to fit. It was this was the way to go. So it's a shame to hear that apparently it's a pretty bad leg injury for James Maddison. I'll keep an eye on that. I do save $500,000 by going down to Kudus. Listen, he's shown when he was a West Ham player that he can score goals. He's got flair, he's got style, he's got talent. And he was, from what I can tell, brought in under Thomas Frank. Frank came in and must have said, this is one of the guys I want. Obviously, I don't know all the behind the scenes about how transfers work, Daniel Levy, etc. at Tottenham. But, listen, this is a new manager taking on a new team, and this was a move that they paid a decent amount of money for. So, I know he's only $6.5 million in the game. I don't know, especially with, you hate to say it, but with Maddison out of the rotation, not that they were competing for the same spot, but the goals and assists are going to have to come from somewhere, and I think Kudus could have a strong start. And again, you talk about Burnley at home to start the season. That's not an awful fixture. It's not an awful fixture. Declan Rice, just a word on Arsenal here. Again, gut feelings. I don't know what to tell you. Bukayo Saka is an excellent player. I just don't like him. I just don't like him as an FPL asset. I don't even hate him as a guy. He's a Celtics fan. So, I should love this dude. He's been to Celtics games. Let's go. You know what I mean? Boston representation in the PL. Come on now. I just don't trust it. He's let me down too many times. I love Odegaard. He's always kind of been my guy. The whole Trossard and Martinelli. Martinelli's even gone now, right? So, it's just, you never know who. So, I don't know. I just kind of, Rice, the biggest, as soon as I heard that defensive contributions were being added to the game, I was like, Declan Rice, easy, because he's going to get you attacking returns. With his set pieces, he's getting assists. He can get a goal or two. He's in there. He's a talented midfielder. Again, 6.5, so he's cheap. Arsenal, I think, as always, are going to be a strong defensive team. So, he'll have clean sheet points every now and then. I think he's playing 90 minutes week in, week out, so I'm not too worried about that. And now that defensive contributions are on top of that, I'm like, okay. And now I know you've seen these whole, Moises Caicedo was the midfielder that benefited most from, if defensive contributions had been a thing last season, Caicedo would be the one who would have gotten the most points. And it is important to note with defensive contributions, you're capped at 2. So if you hit that threshold as a midfielder of 12 defensive contributions, you're not getting more than 2. So if you get 14 in a game, that's 2 points. If you get 20 in a game, that's 2 points. You know what I mean? And if you only get 10 as a midfielder, you're not getting anything. So it is an interesting kind of binary. I haven't looked at the averages versus consistent. You want consistency at a number around 12 more than you want some weeks where you get 20 and some weeks where you get 5. You know what? And I just feel like Rice is going to be consistent. I know he didn't feature on those lists of like these midfielders would benefit the most if this had been in place last season. So like, say what you will about that. I don't know, but I just, again, gut feeling we're rolling with Rice to start the year. You know what I mean? And again, as much as I just talked up Manchester United a second ago, Arsenal's away to Man U to start the season. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal wins that game. You know what I mean? Like, am I banking on both the Arsenal defense being strong and Bruno Fernandes scoring goals? Like, yes, of course, because we don't play logically. We play gutfully, and that's how FPL is meant to be played. Last midfielder, Lucas Paqueta. Again, obviously I'm going to have a little bit of West Ham bias. Like, come on now. You gotta represent your team. You got to love your boys. Bowen going up front as a striker is interesting. It probably is the best representation of how he plays and how he's going to fit into the squad. I know we've got Fulkrug. I know we got Callum Wilson. I know I got way too excited when I saw the headline that Callum Wilson is joining. He probably isn't going to do a whole lot for us, but I just feel like Bowen is probably going to lead the team in scoring. Like, that's easy. I think Paqueta has a possibility to, I don't know, lead the team in assists, get some goals. I'm pretty sure he's taking penalties, so like that's interesting. I don't know. And again, he's cheap. Like, listen, you gotta save money somewhere. I like what I've seen of him so far in preseason. Again, just not only is it preseason, it's looking at highlights in preseason. So like, buyer beware. But right now, he's got my attention. Other West Ham player in my squad, Malik Diouf. Now, and going into defenders here, I know Aaron Wan-Bissaka has been very popular. I won't lie to you. When I'm picking these players, sometimes it is just open up, whatever position I'm looking at, limit it to the price point that I'm at, and then sort by team selected by percentage. Because, like, listen, the crowd knows what they're doing sometimes. So I see Wan-Bissaka high up on that list. Like, he seems to be popular, certainly at that price point, even for just defenders in general. I always would caution against trusting the West Ham defense in terms of defensive ability. So, like, and I don't think anyone's buying Wan-Bissaka for that. I think they're picking him up because of the assist potential. And I had a couple of years ago, I was so confident. I was like, Emerson is going to go crazy for us. Like, I was so high on this guy. Started the season with him. I'm like, the assists are just going to roll in. He had a good preseason. I'm like, this is it. Like, everybody sit down, step back, just watch and learn, because Emerson's going to go nuts. And then he didn't. Like, it didn't happen the whole season. So maybe I'm getting roped into that again, because this Malik Diouf guy, new signing, left wing back, he had 2 unbelievable crosses from the left against Bournemouth the other day. And I mean, listen, it's Bournemouth. So, like, again, buyer beware. The more I talk, the more I'm like, this is a terrible idea. But I knew it was a terrible idea, and I bought him anyway. I just think a left wing back, Bowen being a left-footed right winger, you know what I mean? It just the assist potential coming in there, like, I'm excited for it. Listen, Areola's got hair now, man. Like, he grew that. Am I going to say this? He grew that shit out, man. Like, he's got some locks. Like, he's feeling something. So maybe there is something to the West Ham defense this year. I'm going with Diouf, especially. I don't know. Maybe I just want to be different. Want to fly against the grain here and be a bit differential. Go for Diouf instead of Wan-Bissaka. But I know they're both popular. Again, 4.5. So he's the one that I got right now. Nico Williams, I don't care for him. I had $5 million in the bank. I've been looking, again, I was looking a lot about Wan-Bissaka. I've been looking a lot at Udogie over for Spurs as well. I might end up going down to him. It's probably good to leave $500,000 in the bank. I don't feel particularly strong about Nico Williams. He's just a $5 million defender that people talk well about. Always does have attacking return potential. I guess Nottingham Forest are supposed to be good. I'm always like, I don't know, skeptical. You'll notice there's no... who even is on Chris Wood, like, I don't know. It's one of those teams where I'm like, well, I gotta have to see them do it. And they've, like, very obviously done it, but, like, A, confirmation bias is a bitch, and B, I haven't paid super close attention to the Premier League for the last year and a half. So, like, I don't know. I don't love Crystal Palace. I don't love Nottingham Forest. There are just some teams that I'm like, yeah, best player in the league, most goals, meh, I don't think so. Whereas, like, Bournemouth, it's like, yeah, Bournemouth, they kind of got something out. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, so right now Nico Williams is in there. Certainly could leave. Certainly could become Udogie. Certainly, I mean, what people talk about Van de Ven. I don't know. Do people talk about Van de Ven? You tell me. Tarkowski. For defenders, I guess he would have been one of the biggest beneficiaries from this whole defensive contributions points. So that is certainly Exciting. Listen, I've played this game long enough to know that it is contractually, I haven't read the full rules, but there is something written in every single year that James Tarkowski will, for some week, I don't know which week it'll be, I don't know if it's going to be more than one, but there will be, as long as he's in the league, playing for Everton, asterisk, if he ever leaves, this is all null and void. As long as he is playing for Everton, there will be one game week every single season in which James Tarkowski is the top FPL point getter for some week. He'll just fucking nab 24 points because he got a header and kept a clean sheet and maybe assisted some bullshit. I don't know. It just happens every single year. You can probably hear my chair because I'm like fucking hyped about this, okay? He's got the consistency. Everton, if they're going to do anything, it's defend. And I'm saying if they're going to do anything, it's defend before attack. But like he just gets a header every now and then. He does get a goal. There's, the fixtures like probably look good. I don't even know. I just you go for Tarkowski. It's what you do. Now, I am leaving out Virgil van Dijk. And as a proud Dutchman, I've gotten hate for calling myself a Dutchman. Like Redditors are like, dude, yes, I'm born in America, but like my grandfather was born in Holland. My last name is Boonstra. I feel the U.S. national team has been shit my whole life. So like I support the Dutch at the World Cup. Like, let me be a Dutchman. Okay. Leave me alone. You have your thing. I love Virgil van Dijk as a Liverpool player, as a Dutchman. Like, he's a phenomenal FPL asset. I would love to have him in my team. I may still try to tinker and find a way to get him in there. I like to try to at least keep one bench player that's like at least serviceable. There was a draft probably at some point last week where my bench player was Newcastle's Lewis Miley, and I was just kind of like, I don't think that's it. I don't know. So like I feel better with Senesi on the bench. Senesi, I love Senesi. It's just the fact that they're playing Liverpool to start the year. Like he's going to be in my squad. He's got potential. He scores points. Twansebe and Obafemi, they're just bench fodder. They're just 4-5. I just needed the cheapest possible options for my last bench spot, so I'm not too worried about them. But yeah, Virgil van Dijk, would love to find a way to get him in the squad. If I can try to bump Nico Williams up, like what? That's a whole $1 million that I need to find somewhere. Evan Nilsson was, to again pivot a little bit, let me weave. Evan Nilsson had been Danny Welbeck. Fuck Danny Welbeck, man. Like, what the hell is he going to do? Like, I don't feel it. I don't see it. Sure, he's like, whatever, the only striker, whatever. Listen, the dude's 75 years old. Like, I'm not rolling with Danny Welbeck. And hey, listen, prove me wrong. But yeah, Evan Nilsson, and again, he, confirmation bias, recency bias, all the biases, was like inches away from getting a goal against West Ham in that summer series game very recently. And so that definitely caught my eye. I think, I know FPL General Mark McGettigan has mentioned a bit in his most recent podcast episode that his eye is on him as well. So I feel good about that. I just think, I think he's exciting. He's someone that I think Bournemouth are interesting. I know they had a better than kind of expected season, kind of the last couple seasons. It seems like Andoni Iraola is a strong manager doing some strong things over there. Dubravka and Kelleher, again, I know Dubravka might move. That would be exciting. A starting 4.0 million goalkeeper at Burnley, a team, I think, again, just kind of defense, Sean Dyche, low block, just kind of bullshit football. You know what I mean? Like, and then fucking spray and pray up front, big man up front, and just hope that so like that's the Burnley way. And so Dubravka, he's a solid goalie. He's been good. I mean, Nick Pope is a great goalie too at Newcastle there. Just didn't quite have the funds for that. So whether he stays or goes, I'm happy with Dubravka as a bench goalie because I'm sure he'll still, Pope can miss time here and there. I will never forget him getting himself red carded for handball, like literally at the midfield line against West Ham a couple years ago. That was precious. So yeah, Dubravka, even just as a bench goalie is solid. Kelleher, I have to look at who else is in the 4.5 bracket. I don't feel super excited about him. I'm excited that he's moving to a starting role because I know he's been like Liverpool's backup, and I feel like you're almost guaranteed that whoever, with Alisson Becker in goal, whoever is backing him up is going to be a strong goalie, just the same as like Ortega is solid behind Ederson. I'm sure if Ortega went somewhere from Man City, he'd be a popular choice as well. So Kelleher is just kind of there. He may stay, he may go. We will see. So again, that's starting 11. Kelleher, Diouf, Tarkowski, Nico Williams, Declan Rice, Mo Salah, the vice captain, Bruno Fernandes, Mohamed Kudus, and Lucas Paquetá, and then up front, the captain Holland, Bournemouth's Evan Nielsen alongside him, and then on the bench, Dubravka as the goalie, Marco Senesi, the man, myth, and legend in his own right, the first substitute as a defender, Axel Tuanzebe and Michael Obafemi. I don't even know if Obafemi's going to get a single minute, man. Maybe he gets loaned out by the time I upload this tomorrow morning. We will see. So that's what I got for you today, guys. That's my thoughts. This is hopefully a bit of a taste of how this podcast is going to go. Nothing too crazy, keeping it simple, playing FPL, having some fun, talking about it. Again, if you have any questions, comments, hit me with an email at squadtalkfpl@gmail.com. I would love to expand this someday so that I'm putting out YouTube videos, getting Patreon content out there, a little bit of everything for you guys. But for right now, if you could just go ahead and hit me with a subscribe, follow on whatever platform you're listening to this, those 5-star reviews. I am contractually obligated to ask for one of those as a podcaster, so please do. And until next time, thank you so much for listening. I look forward to the next episode. Remember, FPL, most important of the least important things. So you go out there, make your team, and win your week, both on and off the pitch. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.